Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
If I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change.
Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. I am exhausted. Let's just put it that way. Oh my God, I cannot wait. I mean, God, I don't even know the right way to word this. Let me just say with the first thought, I can't wait for this election to be over. Working my ass off for my town council race, and I look like I'm getting a pimple. It's weird. Too old to be getting pimples. But man, I ran up here. I was sitting downstairs with Wayne, putting postage on the last 500 postcards out of the last monies that I raised for my campaign. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go downstairs and do my show real quick. And then I'll be running back to the dining room table as he and I put more stamps on postcards, get more door literature to go out. This weekend's the last hurrah to get stuff out. We have 2,500 more pieces of door literature to drop off. So it's gonna be a tough weekend, and I'll try to do shows, but who knows how that's gonna go. And that house around the corner, my sign got stolen again. So now I drive by it every morning. I keep signs in the back of my car, and I drive by it and I'm like, stole my sign again in the middle of the night. Did you again, bitches? So I just go and put out another one. We shall see. So, no matter what happens again, I gave this election a good shot. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was fun running a real campaign for office, and final fundraising numbers turned out to be around $2,700, which I've looked at the campaign filings of my opponents, and I actually did good. I was sitting there beating myself up going, and I still think I'm correct. To run a good town council campaign, I mean a really good one, you need about 10 grand. But the incumbent hasn't raised anything. All she did was pay out of her own pocket about $1,000. So I guess she's raised $1,000 from herself. The Republican has raised more than I did, but not by much. But there were support he was given. I don't know what the laws are. I frankly don't care what the laws are. I don't think you should have to be reporting this shit anyway. But like that push poll, remember that push poll I was complaining about? That's not reported on his filings. Now, maybe it doesn't need to be because it was done by the Republican Party or by a PAC. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just saying. And thank you, Connor, and hello, everyone. All right, we're going to stop talking about my race, but that's what's on my mind. We're going to do the LNC update. Fortunately for me, because I'm exhausted and I still have a lot of campaign work to do, there hasn't been that much going on. But there might be questions you guys have. But before we get started, need to do just the usual promos. If you enjoy this type of content, please, I'm begging you, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. It's been rough, and a not insignificant number of people have had to drop off. So I really would, like to keep the support going. So if you can, please consider it. And since we're not dealing with the adult subject matter that we were dealing with when I was doing my critique of Candace Owens, now it is appropriate to promote a children's book from my sponsor, Sean Dempsey, who wrote Ava in the Storm, another super cute children's book. Great gift as we're coming into the holiday season. You can get it on Amazon again. It's by Sean Dempsey, Sean spelled S-E-A-N. My brother, who is since deceased, his name was Sean, but it was S-H-A-W-N. And remember, you can also still get Tale of Two Brothers. Maybe get them both. Get them both in a little gift package for the young person in your life and teach them some good life lessons, but in a format appropriate for children with some really cute illustrations. Alrighty, and Ronwell says she's going to the State Gala Convention with Justin Amash. Justin Amash is a cutie pie, so have a good time. Alright, let's do the LNC update. Hold on. I am a little scattered because I've been busy with New Mexico, Virginia, the LNC, my town council race, starting a new job. Yeah. So what has gone on this past week? Well, there hasn't been any ballots. So there's not that. Did I go over the financial report? Crap, there was a graphic I wanted to show you guys. And I don't have Facebook on here. But I can show it to you anyway without... It's better that I don't show you what I had before because it was mentioning... I really don't want to make this about persons. It was kind of ragging on a person. We don't need to mention people. We can just mention facts. So let me pull this up. Let's go. I don't think I went over the financial. Well, I'll be able to. Hold on. I keep forgetting that I haven't done the two-factor authentication on this particular computer, so it doesn't like me to log into my LNC email, but I can get it from the LNC public list. So September, end of month financial reports. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Why not? As we go over it. Because I don't think I've gone over this before. And if I have, you're going to get to see it again. So I have to take off the comments. So, God, I don't like this red spot. I look like I have a little red Hitler mustache. All right, Southern Poverty Law Center. There's your proof of the Mises Caucus far-right Nazis. She's got a red spot. Makes her look like a pink-haired Hitler. Okay. Let's share. There we go. So here is Todd's breakdown of... Oh, I went over this on the Southern Poverty Law Center video. That's where I went over this, but I didn't go over it on an LNC update, so we still need to do that. And let me just say, I love this that Todd does. Okay, no shade at all on Tim Hagen as a treasurer. He was a very good treasurer, never got us into any trouble. I didn't particularly care for his votes on the LNC, but that's separate from being a capable treasurer. But Todd goes above and beyond. Todd gives us a little summary because there's a reason not all of us are treasurers. We don't have a financial background. We don't all know how to really competently read these reports, even though I know everyone on Facebook thinks they're an expert. We're not. So I love that our treasurer gives us like the too long didn't read summary. So I have this here on the screen. So this is, I believe, the September end of month financial reports, because the financial reports are a month behind. And today, when I was having to go in the CRM for something completely different, I don't think I can share this, so I won't share it until I find out. I think I'd have to redact some names and things like that. But boy, we had good fundraising today. Hey, Mike, we had a life member. Like, people were telling you that we're not fundraising. They just don't know what we're talking about. What they're talking about. Excuse me. I was thinking about this funny meme that National shared. Oh, can I pull it up? If you guys haven't seen this meme, it's freaking hilarious. Let me see if I can pull up Twitter. I think I shared it. Let me find my profile. Yeah, profile. Okay, let me find what I shared. Here we go. This meme is hilarious. I love the caption. So it says, Libertarian Party, narrator, inflation was in fact very high. This is one of my favorite memes, like, so far. Oh, God, that's fantastic. All right, so that does relate, though, to the financial report that we're going to go back to. We're not in a good economy. While I would love for us to be doing a lot better at fundraising, the fact that we are still remaining strong is incredible in this economy. The haters who really just don't wish the best for the LNC, they can kiss my libertarian ass. Okay? Did I stutter? I don't think I stuttered. That's how I feel about it. But let's go over this. So we're going to read what Todd broke down, and we're going to actually look at least one of these graphs, because I want to show you something funny. Cash position. Our cash position remains strong. We have a cash reserve of $168,000. I've been on the LNC since 2016. This is rare. We have a target cash reserve of $81,000. We have double a cash reserve. It's very important to have reserves in a bad economy. The reserves were nearly completely depleted right before the Reno reset. So all these people ragging on us, the party was functionally insolvent, except for our real estate, which they were trying to mortgage, if you remember, in a backroom deal that they made. Don't let anyone ever forget that sneaky move in the midnight hours of last term. So we've brought the reserve up to $168,000. So we remain in a significantly strong cash position, meaning a significantly strong solvent position. Revenue. Revenue bounced back, rising almost 12% month over month. You wouldn't know that reading the haters, would you? We came in at $128,000 for the September end of month financials. This was driven by the third best new member recruiting month over the past year. You wouldn't know that either, would you? trailing only the convention cutoff bump, because in order to get a certain number of delegates, there's always a push for new members, and that's always a huge bump, and that's always a huge drop-off, because the people who signed up to be national members, in order to boost their state delegation numbers, a lot of them don't renew. That's just the way it is. So we're now having the fall-off year. But we'll get another bump right before in the cutoff. I think it'll be October of 2023. This is a very predictable cycle. And the post-convention bump, great work by staff, and we're starting to see dividends from the affiliate membership program. Expense analysis. The staff did a really incredible job on the expense side. What the haters don't tell you is we have cut expenses. This is one of the lowest expense months in the past year. This was driven by reducing the amount spent on direct mail while maintaining the same donation levels. So that's something else the haters don't tell you. We are doing good fundraising, but spending less on getting the money. So we're actually, for every dollar you raise, you have to spend a certain amount to get that dollar. We are spending less to get each dollar. So that's also not reflected in what the haters say. And by having salaries of past employees fall off the books. Now, those will get replaced. We do need to replace those employees, but we have saved money in that regard right now. So summary, we're still on pace to have our third $2 million revenue a year in a row. Oh, you wouldn't know that, would you? Cash reserve remains strong despite candidate support and ballot access spending, because we have spent money. Strong new member recruitment month, beginning to prove that we can successfully fundraise without the costly direct mail component. Okay. This is actually a realistic assessment of our finances. But let's look, let me download this because there's something really interesting I want to show you guys. Okay, well, we can just look at it in the screen here. Okay. All right, it's this. I want to make this bigger if I can. Well, I can if I download it. Hold on, I downloaded it. Let me pull up. Where did it download to? Desktop. Right here. Okay, let's do this. And let's make this bigger. Why isn't it letting me make it bigger? This is what I don't understand. Okay, well, what I'm looking at right here. Oh, and thank you for the super chat, Charles. So on the left-hand side of the screen where you see active donors, past 24 months. And what you see, and there's one particular past LNC member. We're not going to mention that person's name. And if I had shared the post that I'm glad I don't have access to, their name would have been shared. It doesn't matter who they are. They are in the rear view. They're not in the LNC. They post, and if you saw the post, then you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, and I'm sure you can guess who I'm talking about. So they made a post and said, the downward trajectory. And someone pointed out, so that line shows a downward trajectory. But look, after May, there's a bump. So if you look at that downward trajectory line, where if you want to see how this new LNC is doing, is our current fundraising above that line or below it? If you can see, June, July, August, September, all of it is above that line, meaning we are having an upward trend. That line is an average from October 2020 to September 2022. If you look at the past year prior to Reno, all of those numbers are below the line, meaning they drove. The past LNC drove the downward trend. And when did numbers start getting significantly bad? It could be a coincidence, but it just happens to be after the removal of a popular secretary, doesn't it? I thought I was costing the party members. Doesn't appear that way, does it? Because, I don't know, this isn't all about me. Causation isn't correlation, or correlation isn't causation, excuse me. But there is a correlation. Whether or not there's causation or not is irrelevant. It does put paid to their lie, or that they just had to get rid of the loudmouth pink-haired secretary. Well, funny, after the loudmouth pink-haired secretary is back on the LNC, the fundraising numbers are above the line. So fuck you. Okay, I did say how I really feel. All right, so that is one thing, that, and I hope, because there's some hate watchers of this video, I go off like I do right now for the hate watchers, because I know you guys know this, and I don't need to convince, you guys that their action against me was an act of political revenge and had nothing to do with the alleged reasons. I'm saying this for the hate watchers. Hi, you know who you are. You're going to go on one of the cesspool groups and complain about me. And I'll do what I did last term that got you so upset. Right there, baby. Right there. Okay, so that was the financials. So that is a big thing that happened since our last update. There's been no motions. We are getting ready for an LNC meeting. So what I decided to focus on, because a longtime party member actually wrote me with questions, it becomes so easy for those of us on the LNC or really tied into whatchamacallit. Actually, raw donor numbers are not. We have smaller donations and larger numbers, but we are we're going to be in a recession. So I would like it to be more, but it's not what the narrative says. Just saying. We have more new members, but what is predictable is we're gaining new members, but we're not getting as many renewals. And that's to be expected. You have people who aren't happy with the reset that are not renewing, and people who are happy with the reset are joining. But that is natural. So yes, we do have a lot of non-renewals of people who aren't happy. But the people who have avoided joining the party are joining. So it balances out. I've never really worried about that too much. The nature of a political party is people come, people go. It is perfection, right? As Dean said, you can't please everyone. Keeping everyone and gaining all the same new people, it's just not possible. With every certain group of new people you gain, you're going to lose a certain number of old people. And I don't mean old people as in age, because I'm an older person. I'm a person of a certain vintage. I meant older members or previous members. The key is getting the ideal balance. Do I think we have the ideal balance? No. We could do better. I am always going to come to you with the idea of we can do better. I'm never satisfied, but I don't like false narratives either. But if I told you that I was smug and satisfied and resting on our laurels, no, I'm not. But I'm trying to give you a balanced picture and always say we need to do better. I wouldn't care if we raised $2 million last month. You want to know what I'd be saying? We need to do better. We have to be hungry. We are a third party in a hostile, freedom-hating society right now. We have to do better. It doesn't matter. We have to do better. But we need people pulling for us and not stabbing us in the back. We don't need friendly fire. That stuff, if those kinds of people leave, we're better off. I'm sorry. We cannot afford friendly fire right now. We just can't. I'd rather have 20 loyal soldiers than 99 ones that are stabbing the other one in the back. So, what I was getting to is I get very wrapped in the LNC bubble, and I assume everyone understands our processes for keeping members informed. And the fact is, it really was brought to light to me today by somebody who's been in the party a long time. I don't want to mention names because I don't have permission, who asked me questions. And I'm like, I thought these things were obvious, but they obviously aren't, because the person asking me the question is like an insider almost, like knows what's going on with the party, and I still had to explain some things. So I was like, you want to know what? That's then a perfect subject for tonight's LNC update when there's not a lot going on. So there is an LNC meeting in 2 weeks. I've explained to you guys how to follow the LNC list. There is also a video on the National Party YouTube channel that, let me see if I can find it quickly. But now forget about the video. I'm just going to show you again how you can follow the LNC list if you want to keep up to date and not take my word for it. Because if you're watching these updates, you're going to get what's going on filtered through my bias. And I want you guys to, obviously listen to what other people say. And as they say, chew the meat, spit out the bones, come to your own opinion. Your opinion doesn't need to be my opinion. So I want to show you how you can view this stuff for yourself. So let's turn off the comments again here for a second. Let's share my screen. Okay, there's the LP site. And we're looking at the footer. Right here, where it says, I'm highlighting it right now, LNC Minutes and Discussion. Click there. And you'll see like a little menu, and there's a lot of great stuff here. This LNC Meeting Archives is where you can find past minutes. But what we're looking for here is called LNC Business Email List. This is the list. If you go to that, it's a Google group. Now, obviously you don't see the subscribe options on my screen because I'm already subscribed, I can post to this. But like any other Google group, you can subscribe to a read-only version of this and get all of the LNC emails, it's delivered to your email box, or you can get a digest of them. And this is how you keep up to date. But where this becomes important is, let's just do a search for notice. Here's where you will find notices of meetings. So for instance, notice of executive committee meeting. Something you'll notice that I have a habit of secretary. See how some of these things are in all caps? The things that are administrative that I think people need to really pay attention to, particularly members, I always put in all caps. So you'll see draft minutes will be in all caps. Email ballot will be in all caps. Notice of meeting will be in all caps. So anything from me that's in all caps is that sort of thing. Everything else is generally lowercase, but you see everything all caps. Draft minutes, notice of motions, draft minutes, notice of meeting. Got it. Okay, so you can find your notices of meeting here. But also, if you go back to the LP homepage and you go here to recent news, you will see I post meeting notices here. So let's just go to this meeting notice here, and you see there's a category meeting announcements. You can find all of the meeting notices here. So for the meeting that's coming up here, wait, I just saw it earlier today. Hold on. Okay, I'm so tired. September, August 25th, special. Here we go. Notice of in-person meeting. So here's the meeting that's coming up. It tells you information if you want to go. If you want to, reserve a hotel room, you can also watch it on YouTube. But here you will see the link to the OneNote. The OneNote is where we'll go to that OneNote. Here is where all of the reports will be posted as they come in. Now, reports are not due until 1 week before the meeting. So there's no reports in the OneNote right now. But in the week leading up to the meeting, if you pay attention to this OneNote and you go here like for staff reports, for instance, let me click on that. Right now there's nothing here, but the staff reports will be posted here once they're submitted. So this is how you can keep track of what is going on. And I had to explain this earlier. Again, I thought this was common knowledge, but it obviously isn't. So this is just some basic stuff. And while the meeting is going on, and let's say you're listening to officer reports and you're watching the meeting on YouTube, you could read along with the chair's report. You can see everything, every piece of documentation except for things in executive session that the LNC is looking at. You can follow along in the OneNote. The OneNote is the same notebook that goes to the LNC members. But you can also find meeting notices. I'm trying to go back to the website. Up here, if you go to events. So I also not only post them as notices on the home page, I also post them as events. Like here, you can see was our e-meeting. But let's go to that upcoming meeting in November. You can see right here, LNC quarterly meeting. And if you click on that, it's all the same details that was in this post. So I try to make meeting information as accessible as possible, but it does take a little bit of work to find it. But you can find it through multiple places. So you can find it on the LNC list. I'm going to go back here to this screen. Let me put the widget back up, the chat widget. So you can find it on the LNC list. You can find it on the lp.org homepage, and you can also find it on the website under events. So it's in 3 different places. So that's how you can find the information you need. Plus, if you're getting a bit lost because this isn't your world, God bless you, you have a life unlike me, you can always write me, and I'll send you links to anything you need. I love getting emails like that because some of the emails we get aren't quite so pleasant. When people want to write me as to how they can keep on top of what's going on or read reports or meaningfully listen to the meeting, I love answering those kinds of emails. So you can always email me at secretary@lp.org. Interfacing with members and providing this kind of information has kind of been my mission statement as secretary. It's the one thing that I do think that I've improved upon during my tenure. And it was one of my goals to improve upon it. Something else that happened is I've been doing training this week with my unofficial Assistant Secretary, Chase Crum. So Chase is going to be preparing the OneNote, so please be patient. This will be his first time doing that. Chase will also be at this meeting in Austin, and I'm going to let him sub in for me for a portion of the meeting, probably during officer reports, because that's pretty tame. The whole idea is that if for some reason I can't make a meeting, that there is someone trained and ready to step in. Because a lot of times what happens, if the secretary, the flight gets canceled, whatever, the secretary can't be there for a meeting, they're sick, it's another LNC member's got to be secretary pro tem. They weren't prepared, they weren't trained. Then they can't do their own job because they're trying to do secretarial stuff. So I want to have somebody who's not already on the LNC that's just ready and trained to step right in for me. So it is planning for a successful meeting in the event I can't be there. The first time I ever had to be secretary, it was as pro tem unexpectedly at a budget meeting, which is like the hardest LNC meeting, because it was the great snowstorm of New Orleans when they got a 1/4 inch of snow in New Orleans and all the flights got canceled and Alicia Matson couldn't make it to the meeting. We didn't find out till that morning that she couldn't make it. And at the time, this was before Nick Sarwark and I were on the outs, he looked at me and said, I guess you're secretary for this meeting. And I was totally unprepared. You know, that's not a good position to be in for a pro tem, but it's also not a good position for the party, because a smooth meeting requires a trained secretary. In order to have a smooth meeting, you've got to have a chair and a secretary that know what they're doing. You just do. It's administrative stuff. It can be boring stuff, but when it's not done, boy, do you notice the difference. So I was spent time training Chase a little bit this week. He'll be there and again. I want him to sit in for me for just a part of the notes taking portion, and I do want him to do some roll call votes. So that will be his first time subbing in. And as this term goes on, he'll do a little more and more. My goal, and I'm not keeping this secret. I'm doing this as proof of concept. I think our national bylaw should have a position of assistant secretary, just like there's a position of assistant treasurer. That's not an LNC position. It's a non-LNC position that's a backup. So it's not adding an additional voting member. It's not really changing anything. But this should be an official position. Because we've had times before where something has happened and the elected secretary just like can't do their duties for whatever reason. Like, give it up to Alicia Matson. Alicia Matson had to go back and do like 2 years worth of minutes or a year and a half worth of minutes that just weren't done. The party should never be in that position. We are just way too far along in our history not to professionalize this. And my goal in this 2-year term, I'm doing a lot of professionalization of the secretary role. We now have a document management policy where records are stored. And the first meeting we're really doing this is this meeting where records are stored on the party server rather than on the secretary's personal computer, which is just barking moonbat crazy. And because these were all campaign promises I made. And also training up an assistant secretary. And I'm writing, for the first time, a secretary's manual. Can you believe we haven't had a secretary's manual? You want to I can't pull it up. Or maybe I can. No, it's in my party drive and I can't get into that email right now. I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of the secretary's manual. Well, a sneak peek of it will be done at the Austin meeting. It will nowhere near be done, but I wanted to show people the progress. That's going to be a multi-year project because there's a lot that needs to be done. And I'm also writing a convention secretary's manual. It'll be a sub part of the secretary's manual. So that was also something that I promised to do, and I got to work on it immediately. And this will be available to everybody, Dean. And also, I didn't make a campaign promise to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway, hopefully on learning management software that the party implements. I am going to do, and if we don't implement the software, I'm going to do it on the party's YouTube channel, a short how to be a Libertarian Party affiliate secretary, or tips on being a good and effective secretary. Because people have asked me for this, and I hope I can talk Todd into doing one on treasurer, and maybe Angela to do one on chairing, like those sorts of things for brand new secretaries. Like, it's invaluable. Now, you don't have to do everything the way I did it, but at least you can know, well, I might make different choices, but this is something I need to think about. Like, how do I want to form out this? How do I want to plan this? And the most important thing, I think, and not everyone agrees with me, but I think they should. In my view, one of the major roles of the secretary is to make the chair look good. The secretary is basically the administrative assistant to the chair. Some people find that demeaning or not that sexy, but I'm sorry, that's the role. Most of my time is spent, and I love doing it behind the scenes, equipping Angela so that Angela is freed up to do the things that the chair only can do. She shouldn't have to be burdened with preparing proposed agendas. She shouldn't be burdened with a lot of this administrative stuff that I just take on. And as an affiliate secretary, you should be thinking of the same thing. What can you do to make the chair look good? To me, that's the job of the secretary. Again, I know some people don't agree with me on that, but I learned that in the professional world. What's the job of a paralegal? To make your attorney look damn good. It's the person behind the public face. If you want to be the public face and get the public glory, then run for chair. Don't run for secretary. All right, let me think. Did anything else go on this week? Let me know if there's something I'm missing or if any questions you guys have, because this has been a pretty slow business week. And one reason for that is you notice that the LNC list has slowed down. For all of the predictions, because I think by now I was supposed to have been backstabbed by the Mises Caucus. That hasn't happened. I thought even some people predicted they'd try to remove me by now. And some people predicted that they'd be tired of me on the LNC list. Have you noticed? I just basically do administrative work now. You don't hardly see me saying much opinion on the LNC list. Why? Because we're a functional LNC that actually likes each other and trusts each other, which was not last term. We get along. We like each other. And that frees me up not to be worried about corruption and about backroom deals, because none of that shit is going on. And it frees me up to just do secretarial stuff. And that's what I like doing. I'm the lunatic that likes doing meetings, that likes doing paperwork. But if you're subscribed to the LNC list and is like, damn, most of the emails are just, get me your conflicts of interest, let me know your Sunday leave times, and it's no drama llama. It's because we're not a dramatic LNC. We're just, it's beautiful. It's just absolutely a dream working on this LNC. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Michael B. And people can call me a fangirl all they want, but Angela is doing a fantastic job at chairing. Now, you might not be happy with everything she's doing. You might think there should be other things she's doing. The commentary that I'm making now is just her role as chair, as presiding officer. You might have different opinions on more of the outward-facing stuff. My job is inward-facing. It's administrative. And let me tell you, in that capacity, she's the best chair I've worked with. She actually has officers. She actually asks the opinion of other LNC members. I talk with her every single day about party business. I've been on the LNC since 2016. That has never, ever happened before. She is a damn good chair. And you're never going to agree with someone 100%. I don't agree with Angela on everything. But I can tell you one thing. I never blindside her. Whenever I don't agree with her on anything, she hears it from me privately first. Doesn't mean I'm not going to say it publicly, but she won't first find out about it publicly, because I will have had an honest, mature conversation with her about this, because it's the first chair I was ever able to do that with. And even though when Nick, before he went off the deep end, I thought he was a very good chair, you couldn't do that with him. Because with Nick, it was his way or the highway. And Joe, Bishop Henchman, just forget about it. So Angela is doing an excellent job. So anyway, enough with the fangirling, I guess. People are going, get a room already. So I do hope for anyone who can make it to Austin, I'd love to see you. The LNC events at our in-person meetings are a great time. There are fundraisers each evening. People get together. They just hang out at the bar. They talk. It's just a wonderful time. So if you can get down to Austin, I'd love to see you. And again, I'm giving it now a few minutes to see if there are any questions. Oh, for once, I got to turn off the heater. It's too warm down here, and you know me and my heaters, I'm usually cold. Hold on, I actually have it under the desk now. That's what she said. I need to go turn it off. That's also what she said. So just hold on. Where is it on here?
That's what she said.
Just give me a minute. Woo! That was getting warm. Okay. So I think that was it. You all let me know. Is there anything I'm forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I am. It's like hard to believe that there isn't just some big drama to go over. But there really isn't. Most of my activity's been for my campaign. Oh, and Doc Sexy. And, okay, I think then that's it. I do thank you all for the super chats. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And I think we will close out just with Bunchy, because we love Bunchy. We just love Bunchy. And I will try to stream tomorrow, though we're hitting the pavement tomorrow. But I'm going to try to do some LP history tomorrow. And I also have some clips. There's some more Candace Owens I want to do, some more Ben Shapiro. I'd like to talk about how Ethan Klein got the cancel mob against him. He who is so eager to get the cancel mob after somebody else. He said something absolutely despicable. I'm not even going to repeat what he said. It was so despicable. And YouTube actually suspended him. For once, YouTube suspended a leftist. Maybe things are looking up. But anyway, that is it for this evening. If you haven't checked out my Southern Poverty Law Center show, I do encourage you to. And also the episode I did about some nits I had to pick with Candace Owens and the lack of nuance I am just starting to see. Well, not starting. I mean, I've always seen it, but it just seems like it's gotten a lot worse from like the Daily Wire. And yeah, I know I've just been really, really picking on the right lately. And that's because I do think it's starting to look like there's going to be a red wave in November. So, I'm going to critique the right a lot more. But I am going to do I haven't been watching a lot of leftist content lately, but I'll do some of that and do some critiques of that. But lately I've just been pretty much concentrating on critiquing Daily Wire content. But I thought I was supposed to be a closet Republican. How dare I? Well, never mind. Okay, guys, have an awesome night. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, unless I'm just too damn exhausted. Bye-bye.
Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians, or choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to